The main goal of Feeding Tampa Bay is to change our community one meal at a time and to lead the rest of the community in the fight against hunger, which is a serious issue in the Tampa Bay area.
We nourish and enrich the independent lives of Tampa's homebound, people that can't leave their house to go shopping or can't prepare meals for themselves. And we do that providing a hot daily meal by a caring volunteer every day, Monday through Friday.
In our day and age, when families don't always live together in the same community like they did, in previous eras, they don't have family around to care for them. And we can provide that care through our volunteers who are wonderful and through the meals that those folks receive every day.
During the shifts, our volunteers sort through all the donations that we get. When we bring in donations, a lot of times they're in really large watermelon bins. So they'll sort through that and they'll distribute it into boxes in different categories. And on an average day, I would say we have about 60 to 80 volunteers here at our warehouse, and they distribute anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 meals just in those shifts.
Statistically, 1 in 7 adults, 1 in 4 kids goes hungry, what we call food insecure, every single day. And that's a really staggering number for adults, but it's even worse for the kids. A lot of the kids might not eat outside of school at dinner. Maybe they're lucky enough to go to a neighbor's house, but a lot of them don't eat.
So our kitchen staff gets in here about 5 to 5:30 each morning, fixes every meal fresh that goes out. They're loaded on our truck and they're shipped to all different parts of the city.
We feed about 850 people every day, Monday through Friday, and there's thousands more out there.
A lot of people think that we don't have enough food to go around, like to feed all the people in the world. When in fact we actually have, I think it's like 1.5 times the amount of food that we need to feed the world. It's more of a logistics problem. So we can't get that food to the people who actually need it.
So USF did an independent study on us a couple years ago. They studied potential recipients before ever receiving the home delivered meal service and found that the majority of them were malnourished, dehydrated, food insecure, and also scored high on a loneliness scale. After 60 days of receiving the daily volunteer visit and the hot, healthy meal, they were surveyed again, and everybody's nutritional scores went up and the loneliness went down. So they actually proved that our program is saving people. It's making them healthy physically, mentally.
People often confuse hunger and food insecurity. So hunger is just a lack of food. You don't have enough nourishment, you don't have what you need. And food insecurity is a lack of consistent access to healthy foods. So there could be a bunch of fast food restaurants around you, but you don't necessarily have a grocery store where you can go and buy things.
Change your ideas about what you think hunger is. Don't label hunger. It's something that people deal with that are hardworking, tax-paying citizens. Your wife gets breast cancer and your roof springs a leak at the same time. Now, how are you going to cover all those bills? Our research shows people are going to take care of that first before they take care of their nutrition, before they take care of their hunger. So that's what we call food insecurity, where your mortgage is paid, your car note's paid, but then you look in their fridge and you see a half a loaf of bread and a jar of mayonnaise.
Our service allows them to not be food insecure anymore. They know that we are coming to deliver a hot meal every day.
When you're hungry, it's hard to focus on anything else. So those who are food insecure often have a hard time kind of pulling every other area together.
We take for granted our mobility and to get up and go to work and go here, there. And folks who are homebound that can't get out, that daily visit, to know somebody's come by to check on them, make sure they're all right, means the world not only to them, but to their families who are worried about their loved ones.
I delivered a route one day with another volunteer, and he was telling me a story about how a woman on his route, she lost her cell phone. It was under the couch, but she couldn't bend down and reach it. So her phone was under the couch for 3 days, and she could hear it ringing, and but she couldn't get to it. And so finally she asked the volunteer, "Can you help me with something?" And he moved the couch and he got her cell phone. You know, that's something you or I could do very easy, but our recipients can't move their couch to get their cell phone.
When you get wrapped up in the real world of working every single day and trying to make money and trying to make ends meet, and then you get to a point in your life where you've kind of made it, all right? You know, your kids are out of school, you've paid off the mortgage, you know, you've got a few dollars, and you don't realize that there are so many people out there that don't have that, you know? So I think it's important to, number one, come to that realization, and then, all right, well, how am I going to then help them?
You know, when I say I'm hungry, what it really means is, what should I have to eat? But when people who don't have any food say they're hungry, they don't have anything to eat. So, sorry.
I've been trying to grow like plants. And so if I see a cool one, I'll ask the person like, hey, what is that called? And usually they don't know. And what they'll do is just be like, take it. And they'll like scoop it out and hand it to me. And I'm like, thanks.
The other day I did deliver to a guy that he's recognized me and he saw my Bucks hat. And he's a big Bucks fan, so we were talking about the game. And he's always waiting for me on his front porch. And I could just tell he was really happy to talk to me.
Well, this would be nice to do because a lot of times, you know, I might not have the money to give, but I can give the time, and that makes a big difference.
So I've been delivering the same route almost the entire time for 4 years. I have done other routes, but I've consistently gone back to my original route. And one of my favorite recipients, her name is Eulalia. She's 93 years old. She lives alone in the house that her husband built in the 40s. She's fiercely independent on her own property. She hangs the laundry out on the line and she does gardening on her own, but she doesn't drive, so she doesn't leave her property very often. I help her around the house, just little tasks like putting batteries in things and, you know, just reading instructions on pill bottles and things like that.
I work in ICU step down, and oftentimes we don't get to meet people on their best days. So it's really awesome whenever we get to see the hard work that we put in to get them better in the hospital and get them home safely, and then to see them at that doorstep and they remember you, and then you have this food for them. It's really great.
You know, it's funny. Meals on Wheels has always been something that I thought, oh, I'd love to do that. I should really do that. And then finally, when the hurricane hit, there were a lot of holes in the schedule, a lot of people who needed help that we needed to get to, and I thought, why not now? You know, it's time. Let's get started. I got started, and I never stopped. I've gotten really close to Miss Ethel. We actually used to live just a couple towns over from each other back in the Chicago area, you know. So we started comparing notes about favorite restaurants and places that we missed, and you start chatting, and also you get to know their pets. So you get very close to them. I've got everybody from a Great Dane that comes up to about my middle to like lots of little schnauzers, yippy little dogs. We ran into a goat once. So, yes, I was packing up a meal, I turned around, one of the neighbor's goats had escaped. That was a new one for me, but you know, rain, shine, goats, we will be there.